Hey folks, Boney here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than my usual type of content, but it's something I'm thinking about doing regularly. It's going to be a rant. There's no real way to put this. It's going to be an unfiltered, raw rant of me just yelling at the camera, but according to my analytics, it seems like you guys like that sort of thing anyway. We're gonna hop right into it. One of the first things I want to talk about today is Ghosts of Tabor. Yes, the VR game that I've been playing on my stream non-stop, and especially if you've been watching them lately, you know that I have a couple of gripes with it, especially as of late. One of the biggest issues that I'm seeing, and I'm not really sure why they're doing it, they seem to very heavily be emulating Escape from Tarkov, right? That's kind of one of their main selling points I've been having is, hey, this game's Ghost of Tarkov in VR. But here's the big problem with that, honestly. The big issue that I'm having with that is Tarkov's kind of a no-fun game. I mean, sure, whenever it first came out, it had a lot of very fun things you could do. But over time, the dev team kind of scaled it back and back and back into where it's just not really a fun game to play. A lot of people call Tarkov a no-fun game. No fun allowed, as they might put it. I'm kind of afraid that Ghosts of Tabor is following that exact same line of thought. You know, like, the longer the game's been out, the more they've been introducing a lot of really ridiculous changes that just aren't very fun. Like, they just recently got rid of one-handed climbing, right? That's basically where you can grab, and if you ever play Population 1 or anything like that, you grab onto a ladder and you can, like, lift yourself up and you can sort of throw yourself, which is really nice, especially in Tabor, because you gotta carry a lot of loot with you, and it allows you to carry a second gun, especially if you only got the smaller backpack. Anyway, that's beside the point. They decided to get rid of that for some reason. And, like, that was a fun part of the game. You know, being able to throw yourself up while holding a gun and then shooting somebody as you get up, it was fun. Not really sure who they're listening to or who was complaining about being able to do that, but they decided to get rid of that. The second no fun thing that they decided to do just recently that really kind of pisses me off is they took all of the missions for the traders and they made it into this weird, terrible, artificial game time inflation mechanic where not only did they double the reputation needed to level up a trader, but they also halved the amount of XP you get from the quests. And some of those quests are not easy. Like, some of the PvP things in there are just ridiculous, you know? It's like, oh yeah, kill 10 players, but you can't die once, or something like that. And you know, a game like that is very difficult to not die in. Let's be honest here. Like, you can round a corner and have 3 dudes just pop you in the face. And you could be on your 9th kill, and, well, that sucks for you. You just wasted 20, 30 minutes of your life doing nothing. But, you know, that's also beside the point. You should never be quadrupling the amount of numbers that you need to achieve to get to the enjoyable part of your game. But to double down, they've also made loot scarcity just very, very tough. I'm not even sure if that's the correct word I want to use there, but for my estimation, they've probably reduced the amount of loot that you get from boxes and stuff, but hey, you know, it's a looter shooter. You know, you'd think you'd have loot in your game, but anyway, the amount of... they have completely nerfed the amount of loot that you get from boxes. I was playing a game yesterday where I went into the prison camp, right? And all of the boxes were empty. The raid had just started. I looked at my watch. I was like, man, did I join late? All the boxes were unopened. I went into that big prison camp, you know, the one that's got all the hangers with the numbers on them, and it's like cell 1, cell 2, whatever. Opened all the boxes, and I got 1 junk pressure gauge, and it was worth practically nothing. Do you know how bad that feels? That is not a fun way to play a game. And sure, you know, maybe they want to have a little bit more of a PvP focus, which is cool. You know, I like PvP, don't get me wrong. But it just never feels worth it to bring a gun in, because not only have they increased the price of the guns to buy them, they've made it to where it's very difficult to get money to begin with. So, you know, you bring in a 20, 30k gun, or, you know, a kit with your armor and all that, that's like 100k, and you're risking all that to get maybe 3,000 to 10,000 worth of money back. Like, it's not a good risk and reward system, and, you know, that's kind of a fundamental they teach you in game design. You know, I went to school for game design, by the way. I have a bachelor's degree in simulation and game design. I don't know if you guys knew that, but hey, there we go, new information. But that's one of the first things they teach you is a very important risk and reward system. Players need to feel rewarded whenever they do something. You know, I mean, I know personally that every time I go in and I find an empty box, that feels like crap. You know, it's like, oh, I fought my way into this building, and what did I get? Oh, it's an empty loot box. Cool. That used to happen rarely. Now it always happens. Always happens. So that's not fun, guys. Come on. I don't know who you're listening to, but stop listening to those people. They've got very bad opinions. But anyway, with that, let's move on to the second part of the rant, which is the Quest 2 standalone. Now, those of you who've been watching me for a while know I have absolutely no love whatsoever for the Quest 2. And yes, I am using a Quest 2, not standalone, but whatever. But it's not the headset itself. I feel it's a really good PC VR headset. It's actually my choice PC VR headset. The issue is standalone. My biggest problem with standalone is how it has this death grip chokehold on VR at the moment. Basically, if you aren't developing for Quest 2, you're not making money. And that's kind of a weird product of several different things I can't get into at the moment, or else this video will be way longer than I feel like ranting about. But the big issue, the big takeaway here is we have a mobile processor strapped to our face. That's the gist of it. You have what is essentially an Android cell phone strapped to your face, and we have devs out there who are willing to sacrifice the integrity of their game and the quality of their game just to make some extra money. Which, you know, I can't fault them. You know, I hate that I can't fault them. I understand it's their business, but guys, please. I actually saw a game that's being worked on called Grim VR. I was absolutely thrilled when I saw in the Discord that someone had asked, hey, is this going to be available for Quest 2 standalone? And the dev replied, yes, if you have Oculus Air Link. And to me, that says, hey, here's somebody who cares about their product. Here's somebody who has integrity and says, hey, I'm going to make something that's really good. I'm not really looking necessarily to make a lot of money off of it, but I'm going to make a good, solid game. But that's what it shows me whenever a game company says, hey, yeah, no, sorry, this is only going to be PC VR and PSVR 2. Like, whenever I see that, I'm like, man, okay, here's a game that I should really keep my eye on, because it's not going to be some shitty cell phone game that's wrapped up into a VR interface. By the way, if you're interested, Grim VR seems to be a Rust-style game with base building and survival and that sort of thing. Definitely something I'm looking forward to, but that's beside the point. We've gotten to this point now where VR is at a complete standstill. If you look at games from 2017, 2018, you could see the path, the trajectory that we were on with VR, and it looked beautiful. Games were just getting so gorgeous, and optimizations were happening, and things were moving very smoothly. And then the Quest 2 came and stuck its dirty asshole into the mix, and now everything tastes watered down and terrible. I think I just made an analogy where I said that asshole waters down things, but that's beside the point. Like I said, this is a rant. This is very raw and unfiltered, but that's just kind of the way I feel about it. There's not much that we can do with Quest 2. And a lot of people are like, oh hey, the Quest 3 is going to introduce all these new features that are going to make everything so much better. Not really. You're fooling yourself. What the Quest 3 is going to introduce is pancake lenses and color pass-through. Now, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about also is meta. Now, Meta recently said, hey, we're coming back. Meta recently said, hey, we're going to start focusing on VR gaming. And then they started firing a bunch of game companies. And then they started making decisions that were really bad for gaming. Like, okay, I want to pose this to you real quick, alright? So, I'm sure some of you might be interested in it, but not anybody that I've really talked to. But let's talk about the dilemma of eye tracking versus color pass-through. Now, which one of these seems more gaming-oriented to you? Okay? One, where you can see your house in color, and you can see screens and other things like that. And you might be able to play mini-golf in your living room, or shoot aliens that come out of the walls. You know, that's cool. or eye tracking, which will allow you to select things with your eyes, or render more clearly the things you're looking up, freeing up processor space so that you can make beautiful games even on the limited mobile hardware that you have. You know, something tells me color pass-through ain't it, Chief. So when you say that, oh, we're starting to focus on gaming now, then cancel your Quest 3 and go with eye tracking. Eye tracking will be so much better for gaming than color pass-through. I mean, sure, yeah, if you're going for casual gaming, I guess, you know, my mom might want to play fucking Candy Crush or some shit on the wall. But is that really the core gaming audience that you're looking for, Meta? Is it really? But before I cap off this rant, I want to ask you, the audience, how do you feel about VR in its current state? Do you think it's growing? Or do you feel like it's faltering? What do you hope to see? What do you hope to see in VR in the coming years? That's what I want you to tell me in the comments, and the most well thought out, well written comment I'll be sure to pin, and for the rest of you guys to read. Anyway, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you, and if you liked the video, hit like. If you disliked it, you know, feel free to dislike it as well. That's it, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.